Hi guys, in this video I am going to show you how I sketch Santa step by step. Alright, please like and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials. I need everyone to just do a couple of circles, alright? Just circles, nothing more than circles. Just try and ease up your hand and do a few circles. Just follow what I'm doing. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is a warm-up. We need to get a lot of circles under the way. We're going to fill up this page with a lot of just practice stuff. So circles, guys. Everyone just do circles. Circles. It's to free up your wrist, free up your hands, because some of you may not have been sketching for the past few weeks or days and you just want to get yourself together again. So let's just go and just keep these circles. This is practice. Practice. I'm going to fill up the whole page. What you're doing is like what we do before we go to do any kind of sports. We do some stretches and we do some warm-ups, and that really helps. And it really helps. So now we're going to do a couple of curves. So it's just going to be all messy, this paper. Curves. You can see the curves I'm going. Curves. And I'm going really fast. And I'm using a 2B pencil. And then just want you to know that. And I'm going to do some other curves this way. Curves. This is all the warm-up business. Just follow me while we go on this journey. It's all going to help. And then we need to do some, I call these angular diagonals. Just straight lines. Bang. But they go at an angle. They're not like straight. They go at an angle. And then you go the other way. Just fill up this page. This is a practice page. What it does, it keeps us ready. And then now we're going to just go for straight lines, bottom to top. 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 Straight lines, bottom to top, like that. And then also straight lines across. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's all warm up, guys. Just go for it. So the page supposed to look really busy. Yes. So that's what we're gonna do. So watch me. That's from here to here. And then here to here is like that. And then it goes down. And then it goes a little bit down more. And then it goes in. And like that. And then all of a sudden there's a little space. And then it goes in again. It goes like that. We want to get the shape of his face. And then it goes up. So that's the kind of shape the face is. Alright? That's very important. Very important. And then there's a little bit around here. Because we went like that, bang. So that is that. And I would say just something like this. So everyone should have some shape like this. And I'm not darkening this. This is a very light shape. Then the next thing to do is to get the shape of his beard. So right from around here, we're going to have a little shape here. Just that. That's for the dark side of the hair. But the shape we're looking for is this, and all the way up. So let's go for that shape. And this is all very you're not going to darken these things. This is a light touch. So the beard, we've got this one down here, and then it goes across, and then It comes up in here, and this one meets this by the side here, something like that. That's what we've got. And then we go that, so we've got the shape of the head, we've got the shape of the beard. Now we're going for the shape of the hat. So we need to get what we call a negative shape in first, what is not the hat, by the side. And look at it. So here it's like this, it goes down and it curves, it curves, it curves, and that's all what's not the hat, somewhere around like that. That's what not the hat. And then we have a ball like thing, and then we can go up, and now we're gonna go from here, we're gonna go in, we're gonna have a curve, we're gonna come down, and we're gonna go in. So that gives us the shape of the hat. And then the little bit of red that comes up here, it goes across and over and down. This is almost straight. So that's what we have so far. So what we have is the shape of the face, the shape of the beard, and then the shape of the hat, and we're set on our way. And then the next thing we're going to do, just add a little bit of his body. We're not going to do all the body, just a little bit. So here we go. Here we're just going to rule a line down. In this middle part, we're going to have this nice curve here. I think it goes like that, a curve. And over here we're just going to have a little bit of the shape. Look at this shape. Watch what I do here. It goes in. You're going to see some sort of fold in his clothes. It goes in and it comes out, and then you've got all that in there. That's so far. And then a little bit of a line here. I'm going to repeat that because I went a bit fast. So here, I'm going to come, add this curve here, add the middle curve in, and then we come here, we're going to just put in the shape, and over here we're going to add this fold, and then he's got a big belt. We might not even put the belt, but let's just suggest it. There's a big massive belt around here. It goes on in all this area, and that's it. So we've got the major elements that we need in, but we really need to focus on his face. So I always believe there's an axis that runs through the middle of his face, and that axis will look something like this. Very lightly, I'm not darkening anything. There's an axis that runs through. And then there's also his eyes, the eye level. Okay, so the eye level should come in somewhere around here. It doesn't have to be approximate because we're just sketching, all right? It doesn't have to be accurate. Sorry, not approximate. It doesn't have to be accurate. And then the nose, just the level. We know where the level of the nose will be, somewhere here. And then the level of the mouth, maybe somewhere there. So we just mark them 3 layers because we're going to insert the things in there later on. Now, what we're going to do, first of all, is to get this lovely shape here, which is in the middle, like that. This leads to the eyebrow here. And this one leads, it goes across, and it leads to the eyebrow here. So we've got like, it almost looks like glasses. And at the bottom, we have a curve that comes in. That's the eyes, the bags of the eyes. We're not drawing the eyes itself, just the bags underneath. So it looks like he's wearing glasses, but that's the way to approach it. And then we're going to have his nose, which is a circle. We're going to put that in. And then another little circle by the side. And another little circle by the side. That should give us his nose. And there's a shadow underneath. So we're going to put that too. Just around here. And then you got the lovely moustache that comes like that. Look at that moustache. And then another bit of the moustache that leaves this area and goes like this. So you can see how everything like feels interesting as we go along. Then we have these lines here. I'm going to just put a shape like an egg over there, and then a circle over here that formulates his cheek. Lovely cheek. And then this one, a big massive cheek over here. Really big massive cheek. Happy Father Christmas, like a circle there. Now we're going to get the eyes in now. Okay, so here we go. It's like a fish. So very thin first eye and very thin fish. Remember, the ball bag is already under there. Second. So just manage to put them in. And then we're going to rule a thin line in the middle that will show the eye and how it goes up and how it comes down. And then we're also going to go up here. Watch what I'm doing here very carefully. I'm shading now. I've started to shade the shape. It leads us to the top of the head and it comes all the way down. And then look at this shape here. Look at that. It joins. So there's a shape that comes from here and it joins in. Okay. So gradually we're moving along, and there's this little I will call it like a white thing here. We're going to be able to do that with our eraser later on. And there's a circle here and some white things there. But let's leave that for now. And let's go to the beard, because the beard is just so interesting and organic. So let's go into Beardland. So look, all what I'm doing, just follow me. It's curves, 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 circles, and then curves. And then it goes into some more curves and more curves. You can see how it's just nice curves all over. And then curves, and then curves, and then nice curves. And then over here, it blends out a bit. Blends, blends out, curves, curves, and then curves. Now we finished that one. Let's go to the mouth now. So there's a lip in between around here. There's some teeth around here. There's a dark bit which I will shade a little bit, where it will just be dark inside the mouth. And then there's the lips that come underneath, and all this area is okay. We're going to just leave that way. Now we're going to go back to the eyes now. There's a line that leaves the eye here. It curves around here. And there's a little tiny eyeball right in the middle here. It's very tiny. It's dark. You can barely see it, but it's there. And the top is darkened. The same thing here. But this one doesn't have any eyeball. So I'm not going to put it. I don't put what I don't see. So now I'm going to go back to the eyebrow and make that look nice. Come in the middle here. Formulate a little bit of the eyebrow on top here. I'm darkening it as I go along. Just darkening it as I go along. And that will be how that is. And then underneath his eye, I'm going to darken the bag. And darken the bag underneath this eye. So the bags are all darkened. And then there's a little tiny shape here, which I can use my pencil. Just a nice little shape there. That would do. And then for the nose, where I did the circle of the nose, I'm going to darken that bit and darken it, and then open up a little curve
inside the nose and around, and then I'm going to pull a shadow which is definitely on his face. You can see that shadow right there. It's just underneath the nose and it makes the nose look three-dimension. Right, we're moving on. There's some dark bits here. So after the nose, there's a nice dark shape here. I'm putting that. And then underneath the moustache, you're going to see some darks here. Underneath the moustache here and here. All inside his lips is dark. And there's a shadow over here that runs all the way across the mouth. All this is just gradual as we're moving on. There's a slight bit of a line here, and then inside the hat is all dark. The line here is dark, so I'm shading it. You can see how it's darker than the other bits, and that's all gonna continue right here. And all this area, I'm using the side of my pencil. It's called a broad stroke. Everything is becoming dark in this area, especially here. I'm adding more pressure to make it darker. The more pressure to make it darker. All this area now is dark. I'm going in circles because this place is round, and I'm making it dark all the way through. The cheeks, they look dark. And I'm running that all the way through. I get to the nose, I run a circle round it. And over here, I also run a circle round it all the way. Make it look interesting. And then underneath here, it's dark. That leads to the beard. A little bit under his lip. A little bit in the middle here. And a few shades around the nose. And around here. Just nice shades. Not too dark. The face starts to emerge. Now, let's do something interesting. Let's do the dark background. So just use the side of the pencil in a broad stroke way. And I'm going to do all the dark that is not the Father Christmas, so that the beard can pop out. And that's all I'm doing now. Just the side of it. Everything that's the background. And what I'm doing is making it have a little bit of contrast. So, you know, we're only using 30 minutes. So wherever we stop, we stop. The beauty of it is that you get to learn how I approach the drawings that I do and how I like to simplify things. I don't like to complicate things, like to simplify. All this, there's shadow. And there's a little bit of shadow up here. A little bit of shadow in that hat, like a triangle there, and it leads all the way down. And then here there's a curve, because that brings out the hat on this side. All this is dark. All this is dark. You see how I'm using the side of my pencil. Make sure I get the darks in, because it's 2B. It's not that dark. If I want a real good dark, I need to use 8B or 6B, but we only have 2B, and that's okay. If you have any darker pencil, you should use them here, but it's not really recommended for your level. That's when I teach adults. Okay, now, we quickly want to do the beard. So we did the sketch before. Now we just want to go in, and you can see how I'm dancing with my pencil this time, just to make it look all fluffy and nice. So here you go. Nice beard, all fluffy and nice. You know, it feels rich. And then I'm just going to go into what he's wearing and shade it. Shade it. Shade it. And I'm going to come here, shade it. Just shade it. Shade it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, it's a sketch. And then here, just make this feel like it's some sort of cloth. And then here it will go in, it gets a little bit dark, and then I'm going to make the shape dark. Remember when we put this shape in at the beginning? So that's a bit dark, that's dark, that's dark. This goes in here beautifully, this comes out here, goes in, and right under here you have a beautiful, beautiful dark that leads us right underneath, and it leads us into the belt. I didn't really want to do the belt and this side, so I'm going to darken all this. Just darken it. This is background. Darken, darken, darken. Just darken. But when I get to the belt, because maybe just a little bit, I'm just going to darken everything. Get the main parts of the belt, which is this little bit here, how it goes in and how this area goes in, and just a little bit of a dark there, and every other thing is so dark. So just got to go in there and darken. Make it strong, make it very dark, make it rich and dark, and that's beautiful dark. And then in here, you're just going to level off that belt. It's going to be really dark on the inside, and then here it's going to be dark just like it is, and here is going to show some fluff and out. And let's make the background a little tad darker than everything else. So I go over the background again, just making it dark all over, just darker than anything else, the background. And also go into some of the areas around the head, around the cap, a little bit of the nice fluff in the hat, because it's not all like the normal, it's a little bit fluffy, so I'm making it look fluffy on the sides and then inside here. And underneath this ball, white ball, is dark, and around here is dark because it has light and shade, and all this area really, really dark, and this bit of it is slightly dark. And because we're not coloring in, everything is in monochrome. And when I say monochrome, that means just kind of, we're going to go back and touch up some areas that need to be really dark and some highlights at the last bit. So nostrils, let's darken that up. Let's darken up the eye on this area. Darken it up. Let's darken up some bits of the inside of the eye here, here, the teeth here, the lips here. And now is the time to take out the highlights. You're going to see me use an electric eraser, but don't worry, you can use your own eraser. I'm just going to use my hand first of all to cover all the areas that I know I'm going to touch on, because I want them to be really nice and white. So you can see me rubbing my fingers. It's going to make it have a nice effect. And now let's bring in the eraser. So there's a big highlight here. This is called an electric one. All right, inside here, underneath here, all here, there's a highlight. The moustache is a highlight. There's a nice highlight on the nose. In the middle, there's a highlight. You can take this out with your eraser. On his forehead, there's bits of light. Around here, there's light. On the side, there's light. Up here, there's light. On the side, and now look at the hair. So the hair, the curves, the round bits, the curves, all this area, just taking the highlights out. The bob, or that bit of his hat, the top of his what's it called, hat. Let's take out the highlights, and even inside his, what he's wearing, take out highlights. We've got 1 minute more. Just do the very essentials, and we call it a day. Hooray! And that was it. It's a sketch.
Thanks ever so much for watching. In my sketching school, I teach artists how to sketch portraits, figures, landscapes, urban landscapes, animals, even still life objects and man-made objects confidently and accurately. So if you want to find out, click in the link below this video and you will find out more about my online sketching movement. Let's do it. Show them.